This is Autism Points of View by Autism Speaks. I'm Felipe Maya. In this podcast series, we cover topics important to the autism community, but we also like to feature individual stories because every person on the spectrum has a unique story. In this episode, you'll meet AJ Wargo. He's a 20-year-old autistic man with a witty personality, a passion for writing fan fiction, and a deep appreciation for family and close friends. AJ got his autism diagnosis just before his 3rd birthday. He has always marched to the beat of his own drum, never letting his diagnosis get in the way of accomplishing any of the goals he sets his mind to. Today, he's transitioning into adulthood with the help of his family and his coworkers at his neighborhood ShopRite.
My job at ShopRite is being a bagger, which allows me basically to stuff groceries in bags. When I first started ShopRite, I felt happy and ecstatic. I knew I was going to meet some nice people. It's been going quite well. My favorite part has been able to work for all these people and understand what they're like and all that.
AJ's mom, Anne, speaks candidly about her son's journey and the importance of helping to set him up for a fulfilling and independent life ahead.
So AJ's 20 now, almost 21. 3 years ago, we said he can't sit around in this house every weekend. He really does need to go and do something outside of this house because we were busy doing other things ourselves and our daughter was busy doing things. So we went over to the ShopRite and asked if he could work there. And he took a job as a bagger, a frontline bagger, working right at the cash registers in the front of the store. And that was 2.5 years ago, and he's still there. And he's still part of the framework of the place, and there's some employees there who are great with him, and he really loves them and trusts them and feels comfortable going there. And I do remember that first day when I dropped him off dressed with his autism pin and his autism tie and his autism bracelet, just trying to make sure that any customer who saw him would know this is somebody who I gotta recognize might not be treat me the same way that a typical employee there might treat me. So I dropped him off and they said, "You can go, Mom, we got him, you can go." And I thought, these people don't have any experience with ABA. These people don't know what they're doing. They're not educators in autism. But he rose to the occasion and did quite well. And here it is all these years later, and he's still there and he's happy there. And I do think that by putting some of these badges on him, it helps the general public to recognize that they might have to curb back their irritation or take a different look at the experience of walking through the grocery store than they might if they ended up in a different lane at the grocery store with a different cashier. His experience working at ShopRite has done remarkable things for his confidence, and he's so proud of having his own paycheck and having his own cash. Yesterday he went to GameStop and bought himself a game and was so proud of himself for having done that on his own, with his own money, with his buddies from the program that he attends during the week. He has developed friendships outside of my relationships with people, and that's been a great confidence booster for him. He runs into people that we know from church or from the neighborhood or from wandering around, or even repeat customers that come into the grocery store now. He's got his own kind of following there. And so I think it's been remarkable for him in terms of feeling part of the community and feeling confident about who he is and that he is contributing. He's purposeful.
Here's Nico Sumis, a longtime friend of the family and the co-president of Village Supermarket ShopRite.
So I know the Wargo family from our church, and I'd seen AJ at church before. He takes a very active role. And one day, Anne gave me a call and said, "I'm looking for a job for AJ. Would you think ShopRite could be a home for him?" And I said, "Absolutely, we can definitely give it a try. I'm not sure if the environment will be a little too hustle and bustle, but I think it's a nice family environment, and I think he would do well here." And so about 2.5 years ago, that's how it all started. I think he's done tremendous. I mean, just seeing him in the store when he's not working, he's like a celebrity. He knows everybody, he talks to everybody. People know who he is, which is a beautiful thing in the community. The associates have done an amazing job of really supporting him and getting to know him and basically being a mentor and a friend, just like they would be with any other clerk. And I can't say enough about how great that makes our family feel.
When AJ started working at ShopRite as a bagger, he had to wear a tie, so he decided to wear a colorful puzzle piece tie. He wanted his coworkers and customers to know about his autism so that they could better understand him.
What I like to hear when I talk to Ann is about how this becomes his Saturday go-to place where he may not go to the football game like other kids go. He puts on his puzzle piece and he comes to ShopRite, and that's his family, that's his social event. And I just think it's terrific to see, and he's a terrific part of our community.
Gigi Harris is a coworker of AJ's and one of his closest friends at ShopRite. The two met when AJ was assigned to be a bagger at Gigi's register. From there, a budding friendship blossomed, and the two have bonded over many topics, including a love for television and films.
What really drew me to AJ is Little Shop of Horrors, the movie. One day he was rehearsing a couple of lines from there, and that's one of my favorite movies. So I started rehearsing back. And then from that, he would come in with his little tablet and he would say, "Did you see the remake of it?" And we would kick it from there, and every day it would just be like, "Suddenly see more," you know what I'm saying, or something like that. At first, he just didn't like to stand a lot, you know what I'm saying, he wanted to sit down. But once I talked to him, like, AJ, it's a job, you know, he started standing more. He started talking a lot more. He started going to each and every person to bag instead of just one person. For Christmas, he gave me this pen, and, you know, it was something special to me because I didn't know that AJ, you know, really adored me the way he did. You know what I mean? It's being as though he had special needs. But I guess he's seen that, you know, I treated him no different than anyone else. So it made him feel more comfortable to be around me and to speak to me, and his mom as well. And, you know, he came to me one day and he told me, could I explain to someone about his special needs and that he does have a disability, which that's what I did. I made it a point that they understand AJ, that I let them know that AJ is truly special, not just special needs, but he's a special kind of guy, you know, and you have to have patience, you know, with those type of, you know, children or people. You have to have patience. You know, we all can get out of character sometimes, all of us. But with AJ, he is very understanding. He's, you know, you can talk to him. He understands just like anyone else, you know? So that's why for those who maybe didn't understand at first, get kind of a clearer picture now of who he is and what he stands for, and that we dearly love him here, especially me.
When Ann spoke about AJ's autism, she talked about some of the early signs she noticed when he was a toddler.
AJ was born in San Francisco on September 11th, 1998, which at the time was September 11th, not a big deal. 3 years later, September 11th was a very big deal. It was his third birthday. I was just telling, I think I might have been telling AJ recently that I would take him, I was in a playgroup when we first moved here, and he was 6 months old when we started, maybe not even. And I would say to the other mothers, there's something weird, there's something not right. I used to babysit all the time. I was always with kids. I never ran into a kid who didn't like me and want to please me. And it's not that he didn't like me and want to please me, he just didn't necessarily connect. When I said to him, pick that up and bring it to me, if I said it to any of the other children in the playgroup, they would pick the crayon up and bring it to me, and he would ignore me and run away. And I kept saying, there's something weird, there's something not right here. And he finally, just before his third birthday, he was diagnosed. So that was, yeah, a pretty momentous time for us. When AJ was first diagnosed, people didn't know what that meant. People didn't know. People were not understanding in the marketplace at large about kids with special needs and kids who were difficult and kids who would melt down in the grocery store line or run away from you in the middle of traffic in a parking lot. And I had many people say to me, oh, if given to me for a week, I could fix this. Or they would say, you probably spoil him too much and that's why he behaves this way. And oh my gosh, as a parent, it just kills you, right? So I think that's where Autism Speaks has done a phenomenal job of educating the world about what this is and how you can't control your child in the same way that people with typically neurotypical children can do. And look, I had a second child, so I know the difference in how that works out because she is typically developing. Listen, will you get out a placemat for yourself, please? And a napkin, and you can put them right here on the counter, okay? And then I'd like you to get some cutlery as well.
Having autism basically means I had trouble growing up. The mom said I often ignored instructions or did bad things. That heck, the first school I was in, I bit someone. Yeah, I've improved, but even though I bounced from school to school, one school was more of a relaxation and not much of school at all. But eventually I settled down at a place called the Forum School and spend the rest of my learning days there. My family helps me improve by communicating with me and doing other stuff and, just being nice and all that. I might be a bit crazy sometimes, but I genuinely have the best in mind for people. We're not as crazy as you think we are. All people with autism are different, but some are more different than others.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Autism Points of View. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts to be the first to know about new episodes. This episode was written by James Fitzpatrick and edited by Dax Schaefer, with audio recording by Heidi Denke and original theme music by Dustin Gledhill. I'm Felipe Maya. Thanks for listening.